Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Streggy, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
I'm setting the example. And what I've done is going to be puzzled over and studied and followed forever.
Yeah. Delusions of Grandeur. You're no messiah. You're a movie of the week. You're a fucking t-shirt, at best.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Did you miss me? I guess not.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting review from Delusions of Grandeur. I am David Streggy, and here I have another review for you, this time of Michael Wade Johnson's return to Brimstone. It's called Brimstone Creek Rd. He produces behind Foul Paw Films, which is a Chicago-based film company. And this is a film that was filmed in 2021. The film stars Portia Chellalin, and Lynn Lowery is billed, as well as Sean C. Phillips, Joe DiBartolo, among others. And Brimstone was filmed in 2008. I forgot to say that in my review of Brimstone that it was definitely heavily musically influenced. It held a lot of music in its background soundtrack, just as well as this film did. And originally this particular film was supposed to be a remake of his first feature, being that of Brimstone. Well, that didn't end up happening, and from what I understand, Portia, who plays Tanya in this particular film, she starred in Candy's Harem. She also was in A Seller's Secret. And she was also in Dopamine, which was the the last film that someone I know who was in charge of Legless Corpse films passed away due to contracting stage 4 cancer. And I wish we would have been able to get to see that film in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, that is sadly not the case. But this story returns to Brimstone. I think in a good way, because we get to the Blu-ray actually comes with an extra feature where you're talking to the director, and evidently the director actually, Michael Wade Johnson, he evidently lived in Brimstone or around Brimstone, which is where this was somewhat filmed, and some of the stories are true. Apparently, there is some Indian stuff that's true. There is definitely a Bigfoot legend that is supposedly true. Several people have witnessed that. There have definitely been some murders that have happened in the forest or around it. So some of it is actually based on true things. And I thought that was interesting to learn. There is, in fact, a legend that is called the Brimstone Booger, which is mentioned in this film. A lot of this film is narrative. A lot of that probably due to the COVID times and COVID filmmaking, where a lot of these scenes were phoned in. And from what I understand, some of them were not filmed by the director himself. Having the ability to have actors and actresses who are willing to film a lot of their own stuff and send that stuff in is definitely something to behold in this day and age, especially with the times that we are living in. So there are definitely nods to the original. You see that Portia is actually watching a portion of the original Brimstone on her TV set. But this film is definitely very much about depression, or having thereof, and having friends who deal with their own demons. And she definitely has the same clique of friends. This is definitely gothically based. In the original film, there was a singer that had actually died, which was kind of an influence into the whole group going out into the middle of the woods and basically offing themselves. But there's definitely more of a feel of the dark arts in this film that they were involved in on a regular basis. And three of her friends, I believe they were called Evi, Chigger, Drake, and Lila, played by Desiree Rain, Blaze Borer, Michael Paul Tuck, and Sean Seaton. These are some of the characters that Tanya hangs out with, and they evidently make a pact together to fight their need to try to kill themselves. And there are some very interesting moments of their togetherness. And it seems like they all definitely get along. They have their own things that are unique to them. And I guess the three of her friends end up going to Brimstone Woods, and something happens and they come back differently. And instead of slowly killing themselves off one by one, this one was a little bit more intense, because yes, it was one by one, but it all happened at once. Whereas in the original Brimstone, it was more of an investigative thing, and they happened upon them dying or dead, and you saw flashbacks of what actually happened. Whereas the deaths that happen here are happening in the here and now while she's still there. And I kind of like Desiree Rain and her way of smiling at her while she's cut her wrists in the tub. But one special effect that I thought that was pretty cool was the one flashback that we really get of Tanya's father, and actually having heard that they did that themselves. I thought it was done pretty well for what they could do with a death scene like that. But other than that, I did think that the fact that the director used his daughters in the very beginning as the disembodied spirits that are telling the first victim that we see in the woods, I guess, who was played by Sway Castillo. That was kind of a unique death, where we had a woman that seemed to be possessed and knocked her forehead against a tree until she was dead. I thought the music definitely spoke to the story. I think that there was a lot more music than was necessarily needed, but I did enjoy the choice of music that was chosen for the film, and I definitely wouldn't mind if the director came out with some kind of soundtrack for both films, as like maybe a double CD set or something like that, with permission from the artists or whatnot at the time, because I wouldn't mind listening to some of it. But there are definitely some heavy themes. He made a reference to his film company in the narrative dialogue, which was great. And there's another character by the name of Rook, played by Paul Kincaid, who was evidently a lover of Tanya's. And I guess he was supposed to represent, like, the last person that was like her rock. So he his character went with her to Brimstone after she had actually looked up a lot of the things with Brimstone. She actually contacted an expert in the field by the name of Eric Long, who was played by Joe DiBartello, who has been a frequent character in Michael Wade Johnson's films, specifically Cellar. Yeah. As far as Sean C. Phillips' character, there's nothing that he hasn't already done in the film. I guess I'm one of those who don't entirely enjoy seeing him in every single indie film because I do feel like whenever I see him in an indie film, I know that he's supporting them. He's kind of a mascot of the indie film world, but I feel like there are other people who would like to be or do like he does, and once he's in a film, then other people cannot like do what he does. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty well-rounded film. It gave a lot more to the mythos behind Brimstone, and it built upon what he had already put out there, and I thought that was pretty darn good. I mean, I thought the acting was relatively good. I mean, I wish there were some other wording that the disembodied spirits could say other than do what we did. Maybe some added dialogue that they could do like he did in the original film. There was more dialogue to them, and I don't know why, but I kind of enjoyed seeing one of the actors looking like he was banging one of the chicks while they were haunting the original actress. And though I thought the original actress in Brimstone was pretty in her own way, I still just felt like those two piercings, I wanted to rip them out of her lip. I know that piercings were a thing and are still a thing for a lot of people, but to me, I just want to like rip them out of their faces, because the piercings aren't natural. You know, they are not natural things to have in your body, and I just think it takes away from people's beauty if people have any kind of beauty fashion statement going on. Maybe it's just an emo thing. I don't know. No, pain and pleasure, that kind of thing. But I relatively enjoyed this return to the world. I wouldn't mind another return. I know that there have been many independent artists that return to different worlds and build on that. And I think Brimstone is that world, that because he grew up in that area and knew some of the legends, he built upon that and ran with it. And sometimes some films are based on some truth in reality, and I think that I liked that aspect of the film. So hopefully you get a chance to check out Brimstone. I believe that you can find the films on a collector. I think you can still find a copy of the film on Blu-ray at foulfilms.com, or at least at its Store Envy page. So thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. And let me know down in the comments whether you've seen this particular film or not. I thought it was pretty good. I thought that there were some definite moments where the camera was used really well, and maybe there are some slow moments, but I do enjoy the atmosphere of the film. So thank you, and enjoy. I'll definitely bring some more stuff to the table for you to check out. So thank you so much.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?